Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and today on the podcast, a little bit controversial. I'm wondering if this is going to be something that people really don't appreciate, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Latte art is fun, but, and we're going to talk about the but in a second. Before we get started, if you are looking to pivot in your career and become a coffee consultant, we are opening up our next 6-week course for the Coffee Consultants Mastermind Group. Head to the show notes, click on the link and register your interest for the next group starting in the middle of September. So, latte art is fun, but this is a discussion I want to have because our industry is changing and shifting, and we are being asked to address many issues. And recently I've been speaking with a number of industry leaders who have expressed their concern for baristas and other coffee professionals who love latte art competitions and only focusing on latte art when it comes to their profession. And the reason that there's concern being expressed right now is because we're 19, 20 months into a pandemic, and the opportunity to have smackdowns and to congregate around latte art has been taken away and continues to be taken away. And this was typically how people in our industry socialized. But it also seemed to be the only kind of event that you could run where you were 100% guaranteed to get a massive crowd. And this always concerned me. And the reason it always concerned me and is concerning, there seem to be so many people coming out of the closet around this subject and having conversations with me about it, because it seemed very unpopular to say that you didn't agree with latte art throwdowns. And people would kind of on the sly whisper it to me and say that it angered them that people only want to go to latte art throwdowns, but when there are education programs that are being held, or when there are programs that talk about what's happening with producers, people don't want to show up. And the question would be asked, what happens if we couldn't have throwdowns again? And that's happened. We can't have throwdowns. And if you are having a throwdown, especially with the Delta variant being the predominant variant now, you are legitimately putting people at risk, vaccinated or not. And people are tending to try and find workarounds for that. Now, what happens as an industry if the only draw card to events is latte art throwdowns, and we can no longer have latte art throwdowns? Well, we have a couple of issues here. One that comes to mind predominantly for me is mental health issues. This is where people would get together. This is where people would socialize. This is where people would, kind of show their chops. This is where people showed other people what they were capable of doing in the industry. Except now, those events have gone away, and the importance, not only have the events gone away, but the competitions have gone away. And the importance of latte art in our day-to-day professional lives has seemingly gone away, because drinking coffee in a cafe out of a ceramic cup is becoming a thing of the past. And is it going to come back? I don't know. it's coming back in some places only to be taken away again because sitting indoors is becoming challenging with the Delta variant. And so latte art is great. Latte art is beautiful. But if we're building a whole sector of our industry on their ability to create latte art, and we are revering that as the only way that we come together socially or for events in our industry, when that's taken away, that sector of the industry doesn't really have the draw card to want to stay in our industry anymore. And so what I think we need to be doing is cultivating more curiosity around other aspects of that, our professions, so that people can find more meaning beyond latte art, but also including latte art, so that they can find more purpose in the trajectory of their career. And latte art isn't the only thing that they get satisfaction out of in this industry. Now, this may sound like, oh, look, Lee's taking a shit on latte art, like Lee's shit canning latte art. Look, I'm not saying that. Latte art, as someone who was a barista for 15 years in this industry, latte art's really important from a professional perspective, and consumers really like it. But it's being taken away. Not your ability to do latte art, but the importance of it is being diminished for a number of reasons. Competitions are going away. Consumers are not drinking in ceramic cups. They're drinking in takeaway cups more and more. And you have to put lids on them when you give them to customers now. Throwdowns are going away, as we've spoken about. So all of these things are culminating to a situation where people would really hang their hat on their status within the latte art community, and that's being taken away. And if we don't create a kind of next step beyond that and help people who love latte art, and let me tell you, I'm well aware that if we held mastermind groups for latte art, there would be thousands of people in these mastermind groups. But we won't do it. And the reason we won't do it is because there's no help required in that area. There are enough people that are doing that. But what we're finding now is that people who previously were obsessed with latte art are looking for what's the next thing that they can do that will help them get popular in this industry and will help people pay attention to them. And I don't know what that is. But I think the solution lies somewhere in we have to help create more purpose for them beyond latte art. And if you are somebody who really, really loves latte art and that's the skill that you're hanging your hat on, I want you to consider something. In the future, and I don't mean even the distant future, it's happening now. The quality of the latte art that you're offering is going to have less and less importance to your consumers because they can't drink coffee in your cafes, particularly here in Australia right now. And that's not something that's going to change in the short term. And as the Northern Hemisphere, I should say, comes into winter, congregating in cafes, vaccinated or unvaccinated, is going to become something that is not going to be a thing. So where do you get to practice your art and have it have the importance that it previously had? It's just something to think about. So latte artists, I love you. And I really appreciate how much dedication and love you have for the presentation of the craft. It's wonderful. All I'm saying is I would love for you to have an idea of the next steps that grow your sense of purpose in the industry and don't just keep you stuck on the fun and beauty of latte art. I'm all about all love. This is not me shitting on anybody, but we do have a problem, and if we don't point it out and help people move beyond it, I fear we're just adding another problem to the list and we're kicking the can down the road yet again. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day.